Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving deep into the minds of narcissists. You know them, you might have loved one, you may have worked with one, maybe you even lived with one. We're going to uncover the things that absolutely make them tick. Or should I say make them few? We're talking about what they absolutely hate. Because when you understand what a narcissist hates, you gain valuable insight into their patterns, and you know, knowledge is power. Stay tuned to learn how you can use this knowledge to set boundaries, protect yourself, and even navigate your relationship with the narcissist in your life just a little bit better. Have you ever noticed how a narcissist just seems to suck all the air out of a room? Attention is their oxygen, their lifeblood, their drug of choice. And you know what happens when an addict doesn't get their fix? They crave it, obsess over it, become completely dysregulated. Narcissists thrive on attention, whether positive or negative. It doesn't matter to them, as long as all eyes are on them. They need a constant stream of validation to prop up their fragile egos. So when you ignore them, when you don't give them that reaction they so desperately crave, it's like you're starving them of the very thing that keeps them going, that fragile sense of self. Ignoring a narcissist can look like not responding to their provocations, not engaging in their dramatic narratives, not giving them the attention they so desperately seek. And let me tell you, it's not always easy. They'll likely double down on their efforts, becoming even more outrageous or manipulative to try to get a rise out of you. But trust me, the more you stick to your guns and deny them that attention, the more frustrated and even enraged they may become. They might even storm off, but you've just demonstrated that their tactics don't work on you. For most of us, feedback, even constructive criticism, is an opportunity for growth. It helps us to learn, to improve, to become better versions of ourselves. But for a narcissist, criticism, no matter how well-intentioned or gently delivered, is like a knife to the ego. Remember, deep down under all that bluster and bravado lies a fragile and insecure sense of self. They can't handle the idea that they're anything less than perfect, that they might have flaws or make mistakes. So they build up these walls of grandiosity and defense mechanisms to protect themselves from the unbearable thought of being anything less than superior. When you criticize a narcissist, you're essentially chipping away at that carefully constructed facade. You're threatening their illusion of perfection, and that's simply unacceptable. They'll often react with anger, denial, or even rage. They might try to turn it around on you, accusing you of being the problem. Narcissists are master manipulators. They're experts at pulling strings, pushing buttons, and orchestrating situations to get their way. Control is their way of ensuring that the world revolves around them, that their needs are always met, that their fragile ego is constantly stroked. They need to feel like they're the ones calling the shots, the ones in the driver's seat, the puppet masters of their own little world. But here's the thing, the more control a narcissist has, the less they have to face their own internal chaos, their own insecurities, their own deeply rooted fears. Control is a way for them to keep those demons at bay. So when a narcissist feels a loss of control, when their carefully crafted plans go awry, when their manipulations don't work, it triggers a narcissistic injury. It's like pulling back the curtain and revealing the insecure, fragile being they so desperately try to hide. Chapter 4. Being wrong, an unthinkable offense. In the mind of a narcissist, being wrong is simply not an option. To admit fault, to acknowledge a mistake, would be to shatter the illusion of perfection that they've so carefully constructed. It would be to admit that they are, in fact, human, capable of flaws and shortcomings just like the rest of us. But for a narcissist, acknowledging their humanness is simply out of the question. Their entire sense of self-worth is built on the foundation of being superior, infallible, always right. To admit wrongdoing would be to pull the rug out from under their own feet, to send their carefully constructed world crashing down around them. So, when confronted with the possibility of being wrong, they'll often resort to denial, deflection, or even aggression. They'll twist the facts, rewrite history, and project their own shortcomings onto others. Chapter 5. Others' happiness, a threat to their fragile ego. This one can be particularly difficult to understand, even painful to witness. How can someone feel threatened by another person's happiness? But for a narcissist, someone else's joy, their success, their good fortune can feel like a personal attack. A painful reminder of their own perceived inadequacies. Remember, narcissists often have a deeply rooted sense of inadequacy. They may project an image of confidence and self-assurance, but beneath the surface lies a fragile ego that's easily threatened. They compare themselves to others constantly, always measuring their own worth against the accomplishments and happiness of those around them. When someone else is genuinely happy, thriving, or successful, it can trigger a narcissistic injury, a deep-seated sense of envy and resentment. Chapter 6: Boundaries, Walls. They're determined to tear down boundaries, those invisible lines we draw to protect ourselves, our time, our energy, our emotional well-being. They are essential for healthy relationships, for self-respect, for a sense of peace and autonomy. But for a narcissist, boundaries are like fences in their path, obstacles to overcome in their relentless pursuit of control and self-gratification. Narcissists have this uncanny ability to bulldoze right through boundaries. They might ignore them completely, pretend they don't exist, or even worse, make you feel guilty for having them in the first place. They'll test your limits, push your buttons, and try to wear you down until you give in. Why? Because boundaries represent a threat to their control. They challenge the narcissist's belief that they have the right to dictate the terms of the relationship, to access your time and energy whenever they see fit. Imagine this. You're trying to have a calm, rational conversation with a narcissist about something they've done that's hurt you or crossed a boundary. You approach the situation with empathy, with a genuine desire to communicate and find a resolution. What happens next? Chances are you're met with a wall of defensiveness, anger, or even denial. Confrontation, even when approached with the best of intentions, can be like throwing gasoline on a fire when it comes to dealing with a narcissist. Why? Because confrontation, at its core, involves holding someone accountable for their actions. It means acknowledging that their behavior has had a negative impact on you or others. And for a narcissist, accountability is a bitter pill to swallow. Deep down, beneath that carefully constructed facade of grandiosity and self-importance, lies a core of insecurity. The narcissist's need to feel superior is often a way of overcompensating for these deep-seated feelings of inadequacy. To feel inferior is to experience a direct hit to their fragile ego, a painful reminder of their own perceived flaws and shortcomings. It's a feeling they'll go to great lengths to avoid, often by projecting their own insecurities onto others. They might belittle your accomplishments, dismiss your opinions, or constantly remind you of their own perceived superiority. They might surround themselves with people they deem as inferior, using them as a way to boost their own ego and maintain a sense of control. And narcissists are masters of disguise. They've spent a lifetime crafting a persona that's charming, charismatic, and often irresistible. They've learned to mimic empathy, to feign vulnerability, to tell you exactly what you want to hear. But behind the mask lies a very different reality. Being exposed, having their true colors revealed to the world, is a narcissist's worst nightmare. It threatens to shatter the carefully crafted image they've worked so hard to create, to expose the vulnerable, insecure being they desperately try to keep hidden. When their mask slips, when their true nature is revealed, they'll often react with anger, denial, or even rage. They may try to discredit you, to gaslight you, to make you question your own sanity. They'll do whatever it takes to protect their fragile ego and maintain the illusion they've worked so hard to create. You know that old saying, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Well, for a narcissist, indifference might as well be emotional kryptonite. Think about it. Narcissists thrive on attention, on being the center of your world, on eliciting strong emotional responses from you, whether it's love, admiration, or even anger and frustration. They need to know that they have power over you, that they can influence your thoughts and emotions. Indifference, on the other hand, is like cutting off their supply. It's showing them that their tactics no longer work, that their manipulations are no longer effective, that they don't hold the same power over you as they once did. Thanks for taking this deep dive with me into the minds of narcissists. Remember, understanding what makes a narcissist tick, or should I say what makes them tick off, is incredibly valuable. It allows you to anticipate their behaviors, protect yourself from their manipulations, and most importantly, set strong boundaries. Remember, you deserve to be treated with respect, to have your feelings validated, and to have your boundaries honored. Don't let a narcissist make you question your worth or your sanity. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more insights, and share it with someone who might benefit from this information. Until next time, take care and stay strong.